Hamilton now at full flow. The track's getting slippery. Russell's feeling cautious. They've just lost 3 seconds of lap time on the last tour, and Hamilton's got a lot more confidence than his teammate.
Yeah, he's got the confidence, he's got the grit. You can see how the car's snaking around as he's trying to apply the throttle. He's got the DRS wide open too.
George Russell trying to defend from his teammate. Can he do anything? I don't think he can. Lewis Hamilton takes the lead of the British Grand Prix from his teammate. Mercedes still running 1-2. This is a chance to close right in on Lando Norris. Here comes Max Verstappen. He moves to the outside and he makes the move. He's up in second place and Lando was not able to fight that.
Verstappen moves up and he is now 3.3 seconds behind your race leader Lewis Hamilton.
Can Verstappen do anything about the race leader? Now he can see him in his sights.
Blue flag. Copy. Happy lap. 3 when you cross the line. 3. Hamilton 29.6. Gap is 3.2. Is Verstappen going to close that gap? Because he has managed to get a little closer now. Not enough. Less than 2 laps to go. Hamilton's homing in on victory.
Verstappen's gaining on this lap, but he is not gaining by enough.
He is about to head for victory as he comes into the final corners here at Silverstone. The crowds are going crazy. Lewis Hamilton wins the British Grand Prix. He takes his 9th win at Silverstone, his first win in nearly 1,000 days in Formula One.
Was that a bit much? I built that up way too much, didn't I? And it was historically inaccurate because this is not footage of Lewis Hamilton flying a Spitfire in the 1940s. It was a video he did in 2013 with the Red Arrows. And this footage is of Osama bin Russell flying a Eurofighter Typhoon, which is also inaccurate because he normally hijacks passenger airliners. But what is historically accurate is Lewis Hamilton won the British Grand Prix, and you might have not noticed that or forgotten it with the amount of shit that's been kicking off over the past few days. 2 days before the British Grand Prix, Sushir Runak pulls a Ferrari strategy and loses an election by the biggest margin in history. England reached the Euros final and pulled a Ferrari strategy by giving everybody hope for 10 minutes before throwing it away completely. And then Ralf Schumacher, fucking get this, tried to assassinate Donald Trump. Bloody hell. In a shocking turn of events, at least I assume that's what happened because the two of them were trending on Twitter next to each other for like 3 days. Hold on a minute. That's not... Ralf Schumacher did not try to assassinate Donald Trump. He just came out as homosexual. So instead of trying to murder the president, he was just trying to murder some fat cock. Now, I'm going to cut that out. That's insane. Why would you even say something like that? That's such an insane thing. This is why nobody likes you. It was actually a very commendable thing what he did. It's probably very difficult to come out publicly. And now you're sat in your stupid little bathtub making jokes about it. This is why you've got no friends. It's on the list of reasons why you've got no friends, you fat fucking idiot. The point is, Ralf Schumacher did not try to assassinate Donald Trump. He just came out as gay.
Why are you gay?
It was a simple coincidence that he did that the same day that Michael Massey tried to assassinate Donald Trump. Can we get to the Formula One business for Christ?
Let's maintain civility.
Lewis Hamilton wins the British Grand Prix, and not to take away from his incredible achievement, but his victory was less about what he did and more about how everybody else fucked it. There was a point during the race where 7 drivers were in contention for the win. One of those drivers was Charles Leclerc. He lined up 11th on the grid after getting knocked out in Q2, but made up 3 places in the opening scramble on lap 1, and on lap 13 overtakes the window licker down the hanger straight and moves up into 7th place. Now, at this point, he was only 4 seconds behind his teammate Carlos and about 15 seconds off the lead. It's still early in the race, and with a rainstorm inbound, any one of these drivers could win the race, unless you drive for a team that has an almost comical ability to put you on the wrong tyres at the wrong time. I just made a video about this. At the Canadian Grand Prix, Ferrari put Leclerc on slicks on a wet track, and he was 18 seconds a lap slower than everybody else. But that was Canada. 2 races ago. Ferrari learn and improve from their failures. They're not going to make the same mistake twice. They made the same mistake twice. On lap 19, there was a light drizzle, which made the first 2 corners very slippery. But the rest of the track was bone dry, so everybody stayed out on dry tyres. everybody except Charles Leclerc, who came into the pits for intermediates. Here we go.
No question about it, I am ready to get hurt again.
When he came out of the pits, he was down in 15th place, and just watch how much time he loses. Valtteri Bottas is the car behind, and we're going to use him as a reference point, because even though he's driving a Stake Sauber, which is an actual wheelie bin with aids, he's still on dry tyres and was only 3 seconds behind Leclerc when he came out of the pits on lap 20. On lap 21, Bottas had already caught up to the back of Leclerc and overtook him for 15th place. On lap 22, Leclerc had fallen 7 seconds behind Bottas. On lap 23, he was 19 seconds behind Valtteri. On lap 24, 30 seconds. That's more than a pit stop now. And on lap 25, we see Leclerc slide off the track as he struggles for grip, get lapped by the leaders. You know, the leaders that he was part of barely 5 laps ago. Yeah, he's now been lapped by all of them, and he's now 53 seconds behind Valtteri Bottas. And the problem with this, aside from the obvious, is that then it started raining. Good one! So everybody comes into the pits for intermediate tyres. But by this point, Leclerc had done 7 laps on a dry track and absolutely ripped those intermediates to shreds. So he has to come in for another set of intermediate tyres, and when he came back out, he was down in 17th place and 128 seconds off the lead.
Each time when I come here, I am abused.
Have you people learned nothing? So Ferrari made sure that whatever chance Leclerc had of winning the British Grand Prix was crushed in the most humiliating way possible, as per. But that leaves 5 more drivers in contention for the win. How did they fuck it? Excellent question. Maxipad forgot he was driving a Red Bull for the first half of the race and dropped down to 5th position. And by the time he remembered that petrol stations exist, he was too far back to catch Lewis by the checkered flag. Osama bin Russell retired with a water system failure, which is suspicious, almost like an act of sabotage. But because his fan base is not criminally insane, nobody had to call the police. Carlos Sainz, at one point, was the fastest car on track and was about to overtake Maxipad Verstappen. But then he disappeared off the face of the planet. I don't know what happened to him, because the F1 TV director kept showing us crowd shots of people putting their coats on. Thanks, that's very insightful. And then McLaren spent the first half of the race twatting everybody. They twatted Maxipad, they twatted Osama bin Russell, Lando Norris took the lead of the race off Lewis Hamilton, and by lap 20, they were running 1-2. But then it started raining, so everybody came into the pits for intermediate tyres, and we've just seen that timing the crossover between dries and intermediates is very important. That's why the regime did a double stack. Even though it cost Osama bin Russell 4th place to Maxipad, it would have been much worse if they left him out for just one more lap. Ferrari didn't need to do a double stack because they made sure that Leclerc was nowhere near the lead by this point, and Red Bull didn't need to do a double stack because Sergio Perez has been missing for 18 months now. But McLaren left Oscar Piastri out for one more lap after the crossover, because how much damage could one more lap possibly do? Quite a lot of damage. Even though they only left him out for one more lap, he lost so much time that by the end of that lap, Lando Norris almost caught up to the back of him, despite making his pit stop earlier the same lap. And when Piastri came out of the pits, he was down in 6th place and 20 seconds off the lead.
First time.
Okay, that's not great. McLaren might have just thrown away a 1-2 finish, but at least Lando is still in the lead and clearly has the fastest car, so how could they possibly fuck that up? I'll tell you how they fucked it up. He got undercut by Lewis Hamilton in the final pit stops, then got overtaken by Maxipad because McLaren put him on the wrong tyre compound, and he ended up finishing 3rd. Never mind. So now there's a lot of questions about the British Grand Prix. Why did McLaren not put Lando on mediums for that final stint? Why did they leave Piastri out after the crossover point? Why did the regime sabotage Osama bin Russell's car? Why do Ferrari hate Charles Leclerc? Where is Sergio Perez? Seriously, if you have seen this man, please contact your local authorities, because we're all getting very concerned. Maybe we'll never know. But what we do know is that those tapas-eating bastards flicked it into the back of the net and made it 2-1 with 4 minutes left on the clock. Sushi Runak is a national disgrace. Michael Massey attempted to assassinate Donald Trump, and Ralph Schumacher is gay, which I respect.
Trying to murder some fat cock.